Hello there. Oh, don't be nervous. Let me guess. You sat down and decided to enjoy an exciting, engaging, and coded epic tale of adventure, sorrow, and success. You want to encounter, interact with, and change the destinies of modernized, ancient, and completely new archetypes. Or do you crave to focus on the values, moral questions, and memetic myths intertwined with each level you play through? Well, how about I tell you a story then? Two of them, in fact, both far and disconnected from the world you know, as well as so close that you've always been a part of it. This begins long, long ago, in a land far, far away. America, October 1958. The creation of what you'd call the very first video game, and with it, the birth of our world, and existence as I've ever known it. This pixelated Big Bang of ours set off an avalanche of technical and cultural change that you dealt with by then immediately bringing it back into the versions of reality you had digitally designed. From tongue to paint to dance and song to pen to print to light projected on fabric or glass, and now to these coded pixels responding to your touch, the storylines, archetypes, socio-political views and values as prayer, belief, and worship have been retold, rewritten, redesigned, and rebranded through time, culture, and media. Each era has its values as gods, either old, recycled, and new. This world of ones and zeros is no different. Some digital deities could be even called the absolute antithesis of each other. Fearmonger, the deity of violence and murder, a translation of the gods of war you already hate to love. And Asmika, the deity of association and vicariousness, a less traumatized Loki fighting for representation. As video games started from the military getting bored and playing with its new fun tech, so this real-time rendering of Fearmonger spawned, remade from the echoes of Gatling guns and fields burning in Ares' name. This was a world that always fit him well, but after the first video game crash of 1983, it was rebuilt in his semblance. Now video games were specifically targeting little boys, training them in the ever-developing arts of ultra-violent masculinity, and disregarding anyone who doesn't quite fit the normative mold. This tutorial to terror was and is not just a metaphorical one. As the army accidentally created video games, so did they repurpose their happy little accident to train their soldiers, train the minds of the youth, and shape them to their liking. Whoever did not conform became a target. Violence. Violence is the simplest interaction that can be simulated. Glorifying it, trivializing it, and desensitizing the masses with no context or content behind it. An absolute dream for Fearmonger. His whole existence represented, accepted, and internalized globally. Oh, who needs humanity in human warfare? If you just take out the smell of burning flesh, the bleeding parents scream over their child's body, and those pesky poor people used as pawns, it is so damn sexy. The hair-raising ASMR of a reloaded gun, the happy chemicals flooding your brain when you earn a mass-murdering achievement. You really did make Fearmonger so damn addicting. But none of his achievements and successes would have been even remotely possible without your curious tendency to categorize someone as the extension of you or the opposing alien other. The nationalist classes, blah blah blah. Tribalist mentalities really make murder more manageable. That said, you do sometimes make the most hilariously oversimplified statements blaming Fearmonger for the acts of your own violent intent, that he simply reflects and propagates as a shard of this beautiful, digitally designed mirror of yours. A mirror ever morphing though. We know that to be true since even the face of our beloved violence and murder is changing. Reimagined, recontextualized, and honestly just thought about for longer than 5 minutes, it really stops looking so attractive or even realistic for that matter. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I promised you 2 stories. One of the victories and successes from the very beginning that now seem too good to be true, and the second of the ceaseless trials and hardship that only become so much crueler after the video game crash of 1983, when the cult of the phallocentric, oppressively masculine, and dehumanizingly normative rose to power in our world too. Asvika was never a stranger to suffering, their whole being a contradiction to your hateful normality, which makes it so much stranger that as any of us, they are still just as honest and true of a reflection of you. But it seems that you have either forgotten or, more likely, simply chosen a new reflection, coerced by other mediums or by your own volition, a singular, monotonous, and one that is not really that relatable to most of you. For any statistics, any facts that your world holds in regards to ours, we know that you were wrong. To make that choice, presume your audience, alienate most of yourself from creating, enjoying, and what lies beyond our world. Asvika and the part of you that they represent had to endure and suffer the consequences of these grave mistakes. The ones you've alienated according to gender stand mostly still as either the scenery or reward, but still an object, since the cake is a lie, but the princess is not. The ones that did not look, speak, act, or originate from what was deemed a protagonist or their loudest author were and mostly still are textured in hyperbole, stereotype, and some type of demonization gently placed at the end of your shooting range for everyone to witness. No less tragically, the ones that contrasted your own presumed oh so definitely normal sexual identity are largely put on a stage in clown makeup and jester's hats to entertain your dehumanizing, phobia-ridden sense of humor. At the end of this tragic tale of ours, something seems to shine through though. Asvika's trials are gradually seeming less lonely as you are finally recognizing what a mirror is, what it has and can show to those who are yet to choose a reflection. With protest signs and what you call human decency, there are those of you, if not yet at all enough, that want to make a difference in our world, and your world too, for that matter. But in the end, these achievements and trials only exist, as well as this whole digital world of ours, because of you. Both the celebrated momentous victories and the most disgusting and vile of tragedies are yours. The choices made and the ones that aren't are reflected here. Don't forget that it all had, has, and will have consequences.